captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. That's why we offer this free book. Call 1-800-400-5903.
Doing your yoga?
A yoga pose.
Everybody, it's a moment of Zen here on Weekend Recharge. Thanks so much for joining us. It's time now to take a look at how weather is impacting communities, both big and small, across the country.
We're going to take a look at the front pages of your local newspapers because they usually tell kind of a theme of what's going on. And a big theme across much of the Southeast is recovery efforts going on in hard-hit South Carolina and in Florence. The front page of the morning news, the main headline here reads, "Recovery continues." The article talks about the damage done to the infrastructure and what to expect as we head into a new week.
Also on the front page of the Index Journal, this is in Greenwood, South Carolina. The headline reads, "Working Together." As the article points out, neighbors just banding together in time of need to help clean out their homes and businesses.
Well, let's stay in the Southeast here, and we got brand new video into the Weather Channel. This just happened within the last 2 hours of at least one of several reported water spouts spotted in the Tampa Bay area, and this was very close to the Skyway Bridge. So far, no reports of any injuries, but possibly doing some damage. Again, if this thing comes on land, it is a tornado, and right now we're trying to sort through some reports of possibly impacting like this truck right there. Not quite sure whether that was an impact of that or something else, but the timing was right around the time we had reports of that, a funnel cloud and also a water spout in the area. So yeah, while we're not dealing with any tropical weather, we can still have thunderstorms, and also the winds create water spouts like this across much of Florida.
Yeah, state troopers actually did report that there was an overturned mail truck right there. So yeah, we had some issues with some wet weather too. In fact, look at that picture. There's another shot for you out of Tampa, Florida, showing that water spout right near the Skyway Bridge. What a sight. Pretty amazing. We also had a lot of rain, especially on the east coast of Florida. Melbourne, Florida, you guys hit a record over 2 inches of rain in the gauge, and we saw some heavy downpours throughout the central portion of the state. Today we get to dry out for the most part, but here in the middle of the country, no rain. It's just all about the heat. Temperatures running well above average for this time of the year, as much as 30 degrees above average in parts of Kansas, Nebraska, Montana, and the Dakotas. It is about the wind. It's going to be howling out there, gusting as high as 60, 70-mile-per-hour winds. We do have those wind advisories and high wind warnings in effect for that area as a cold front comes on through. That same cold front bringing that chance of wet weather as we begin a new work week, Paul.
Hey, Kelly, it's a story of who's hot and who's not across the country. But let's take a look at this. We're talking about 2 cities, the same latitude, meaning the same terms of how far north away from the equator they are. Minneapolis and Bangor, Maine. Their average high temperatures, because of that latitude, pretty much the same. We got 61 the average high in Minneapolis this time of the year, 60 in Bangor, Maine. Look at the forecast high today, 61 in Maine, 82 here in Minnesota and Minneapolis. So we're talking easily 21 degrees warmer, but this is also 21 degrees warmer than average. So what's going on here? It's all about the wind direction here, and depending on where you're located. Southwesterly wind here across the Midwest, upper Midwest. That's always a warm wind in this part of the country, and that's going to push our temperatures 10, 20, 30 degrees above average. Eventually, these above average temperatures will slide eastward with a ridge of high pressure, meaning our southwesterly winds will move across the Great Lakes into the Northeast, even New England. So Bangor, we go from average to 10 degrees above average tomorrow, while parts of the Midwest starts to cool down. And there's a big time cool weather system coming next weekend. With more on that, let's head to Kelly.
We're going to go in depth now on a big cool down, we think anyway, for next weekend. I'm in the lab with Dr. Postel, and it's interesting what the models want to do here in the Northeast.
Look at that! Oh no, my goodness, we have some snow in the picture. Not a snowstorm by any means, but maybe some elevation flakes mixed in with some very cold rain showers.
And we've already had a little bit of taste of snow, right, in parts of Maine, even up across the presidential range in New Hampshire. But as we go this far out, Greg, it's a very tricky forecast, right?
It is. That's next Saturday, and what we think will be associated with that that kind of weather is this familiar big dip in the jet stream that will look something like that. A pretty big one we haven't seen the likes of in a while, where it comes down, brings some of the cool air here. So we will keep an eye on it, but you made a great point. This is a week away. This is next Saturday.
But still, we like to look at those models, see what they're doing, especially this time of the year, because it's not out of the question you can get snow, and especially in the higher elevations. It would be a little early, though.
I think you're right. And are we confident? Because, I mean, I'm even, skeptical. 6-7 days out, that's actually a long way out. The forecast areas are pretty big. But what you do is you don't look at one model, you look at a whole bunch, and when they all kind of say the same thing, you have some confidence in it verifying. So that's what we think is going to be the case. There's a pretty tight group of models showing essentially the same thing with that trough in the east. So therefore, we have some high confidence that that kind of cool, maybe even coldish pattern will verify in the northeast in a week.
Get your jackets out. In the meantime, it's all about the warmth in the west, where you've got a ridge, right? So likely dry and hot in this part of the country.
I think you're right. Above average temperatures here and dry as well underneath that northwesterly flow in the jet stream. That's where the cool air will be. Some of that might actually also leak into the southeast as well. But there'll be some rain chances, I think.
That'd be good.
I know, wouldn't it?
Yeah, in the west, we need it.
You know what? I think there's going to maybe a little bit of jet stream energy trying to leak in underneath that ridge. So we got to watch out for that, for some rain chances increase. But we're not done yet. There's one other part of the world we got to look to with this pattern, and it's down here.
In the tropics. Oh boy, not if anybody wants to hear about that. But hurricane season goes all the way to the end of November. So
exactly. It's not over yet. Hurricane season's not over yet. And there have been some signs in recent days that maybe in about a week, about next weekend, that we'll start to see a little bit more thunderstorm activity out there. Doesn't mean there's going to be a tropical cyclone coming out of it, but just keep an eye on that area. Anytime stormy conditions develop over very warm waters, we'll have an extra look at it. But right now, it doesn't look too bad.
All right, just another reason to keep it tuned to the Weather Channel as, of course, we fine-tune this forecast for next weekend.
Right.
Paul?
Well, it is Sunday, meeting time for some NFL football. We'll take a look at some of the forecasts from coast to coast and also talk about how the weather could impact some of the outcome of some of today's games. Don't want to miss this segment coming up right after your local on the 8s.
This program brought to you by Stable Storage, America's #1 fuel stabilizer.
Before you put any engine to bed this winter, don't drain the fuel tank. Top it off with Stable Storage. It keeps fuel fresh, so come spring, your power equipment is ready to go, and your hog won't be a bore.
Oh man, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're covered, Harry.
You gotta do it like this. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, George. Hey, Jim. State Farm agents are there whenever you need them.
To feel this special, you need to eat this special. I love it. Kellogg's Special K, made with whole grains and fiber to help a body thrive. Folic acid and vitamin D to make a body feel this good. Start your day with 150 nourishing calories in a bowl of Special K. Eat special, feel special. Discover more ways to eat special with Special K.
Hähnchenflügel zum halben Preis.
Parmesan Knoblauch?
Ja.
Island Fire?
Ja.
Honig Barbecue?
Ja.
Es ist unglaublich.
CJ, warum sprechen wir eigentlich Deutsch?
Ich weiß nicht.
Liegt es am Namen Winktoberfest?
Ich denke schon.
Etwas übertrieben.
Bless you.
Gesundheit.
Bless you.
Gesundheit.
Bless you.
Whatever language you speak, it's time to celebrate Wingtoberfest. Half-price wings Thursday, October 15th. This is how you Sonic.
You're my buddy, my pal, my friend. It will be that way until the end. And wherever you go, I want you.
Making the most out of every mile. That's why I got a Subaru Impreza.
Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Lowe's presents how to install a new washing machine with one finger.
Maybe a little more that way.
Nice.
Now get 10 to 25% off select major appliances, $396 and more.
I've always been protective of my little sister.
Little, hardly.
But when she got cancer, she was the strong one.
I just did my homework.
She learned while she needed chemo.
It could weaken my immune system.
But then you found out about Neulasta. Right.
Neulasta helps reduce infection risk by boosting your white blood cell count, which strengthens your immune system. In a key study, Neulasta reduced the risk of infection from 17% to 1%, a 94% decrease. Neulasta is for certain cancer patients receiving strong chemotherapy. Do not take Neulasta if you're allergic to Neulasta or Neupogen. Ruptured spleen, sometimes fatal, as well as serious lung problems and allergic reactions have occurred. Report abdominal or shoulder tip pain, trouble breathing, or allergic reactions to your doctor right away. In patients with sickle cell disorders, serious, sometimes fatal crises can occur. The most common side effect is bone and muscle ache.
Ellie's strong, but she still needs help.
Yeah, I do.
Ask your doctor about Neulasta.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, mostly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 87. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 70. Monday, except for a few afternoon clouds, mainly sunny. High 87. Winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
It is Sunday, time to talk about some football, NFL football. Big games going on here. Very warm day here in Cincinnati. Temperatures topping out in the lower 70s, even mid-70s. So how do the quarterbacks perform? Well, Russell Wilson, QBR rating in career 103.4 in these conditions. Last two games this season in these conditions, 107.2. Compare that to Andy Dalton. Well, his career rating, 89.5, not stellar. But this season, 4 games, 123. So based on the weather conditions in the 70s today, we're going with actually Cincinnati to beat Seattle. I got their defense. I got Russell Wilson. Let's go past that. All right, moving on to the St. Louis Rams going into the unfrozen grasslands of Green Bay. Temperatures topping out in the mid-70s today. So how do these quarterbacks perform in similar weather conditions? Well, Nick Foles, career-wise 102.5, but this season in one game, 76.3. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers, 102.6 lifetime, but this season, 125.9. So the advantage goes to Green Bay because of these conditions. What about some other games going on this afternoon? We got to Oakland taking on the Broncos. Weather fantastic here in the Bay Area. Talking about low to mid 70s for high temperatures. Meanwhile, in Jerry's world, inside the dome, pretty nice. They're going to keep the roof closed because outside temperatures a lot warmer than yesterday. Mid 90s here in the Dallas area. Meanwhile, Detroit's inside the dome, 72. Outside, also about 72 for the Cardinals coming in against the Lions. And then the Sunday night game, we head to the Jersey for the Giants taking on the Niners. Temperatures falling off to the low 60s, upper 50s as we head through game time tonight. And then Monday night football in beautiful San Diego taking on the Steelers of Pittsburgh. Temperatures very warm for San Diego. Talking about mid 80s, maybe even setting some records there as we head on through much of Southern California. The heat is on in the Southwest.
San Diego. Beautiful weather there always. Well, time now to show off the cloud of the month, or in this case, maybe we should say cloudlets.
Yeah, in fact, these cloudlets look like sheets of fleecy clumps here. They make up the altocumulus cloud.
There you go. And for more on the cloud of the month, we want to bring in Gavin Preacher-Pinney, founder of the Cloud Appreciation Society. Gavin, good to see you, joining us from Somerset, England.
That's right. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Paul.
Well, tell us about the altocumulus cloud. Of course, they look like they were almost deliberately laid out in a cool pattern. Explain that.
Yeah, well, that's what's so striking about these are beautiful clouds, all right? It's what's so striking about them is they have this layer. When they appear like this, it's a very regular layer spreading over a large area, lots of clumps called cloudlets with gaps in between.
Here you have a demonstration for us.
I sure do. I'm going to show you. It's a kitchen demo. You know I like my kitchen demos. Here we are in the kitchen. So it involves one of these panini kind of toasters. You know these, right? And basically, this is going to represent what happens to the air. All right, I've got some oil here. This is sunflower oil, and I've mixed into it some powder, mica powder, M-I-C-A. You can get it online. It's just a sort of sparkly powder that people use for crafts and stuff like that. And it helps us show the movement of the oil. And that's important because the way the oil moves is going to be the way the air moves up in the sky. Now, I'm going to turn this sandwich toaster on, and it's going to start to gently heat the oil below. And you will see the way that the oil rises is going to be in little cells. They're called convection cells. As it begins to warm up, these cells are where the oil rises up and the cooler oil above sinks down. Can you see them beginning to appear there? I'll turn it off. So these are the same. You see the way it matches the cloud formation with lots of the little clumps of cloud? Because the same thing is happening up in the sky. You get warmer air below the cloud layer, cooler air above the cloud layer. The air that wants to rise up, it rises up in pockets with the cooler air coming down in between. And so, you know, this oil, what's happening with the oil here in the sandwich toaster, it mirrors what's happening up in the sky.
Gavin, that was so cool. For a while there, we had the side-by-side of your experiment along with the actual altocumulus cloud.
It's weird. They look the same, don't they?
It is fantastic.
Very cool.
Great job, great demonstration. That's Gavin Peter Penny from the Cloud Appreciation Society, and it's all because our atmosphere, like that panini toaster, it's heated from below.
Fluid, yes.
So it causes these convection cells, and it's a beautiful demonstration of what goes on. It's amazing out here.
It really is amazing out there. All right, we appreciate Gavin so much across the pond there in England. Coming up here on Weekend Recharge, we're going to have a look at the tropics. Could things be getting a little more active there in the Western Caribbean?
Yeah, and could this impact you and your weekend plans across the Southeast or Gulf Coast of the U.S.? More details coming up in your complete tropical update.
We've also got Tropical Storm Nora, but not the only thing on the planet. We'll be right back.
It's Olive Garden's 20th anniversary of Never Ending Possible. So we're celebrating by offering you over 20 delicious choices starting at $9.99. Like our new homemade chicken pomodoro sauce, creamy pesto Alfredo, and toppings like crispy chicken Frita. Plus, enjoy unlimited super salad and breadsticks. Hurry, it's all never ending, but only for a limited time. 20 years of Never Ending Possible. Over 20 choices starting at $9.99 at Olive Garden. We're all family here. Breadstick lovers, your new favorite lunches here. New breadstick sandwiches.
Why do so many people choose Aleve? It's the brand more doctors recommend for minor arthritis pain. Plus, just 2 Aleve can last all day. You'd need 6 Tylenol arthritis to do that. Aleve, all day strong.
Nothing unleashes power quite like the human foot. Introducing the most powerful IS performance line ever. Lease the 2016 IS 200 Turbo or the 2016 IS 300 all-wheel drive for these terms. See your Lexus dealer.
Is this really the best way to pick color for a whole room? There's a new way to paint. With the new Project Color app, take any color on a virtual test drive. It's part of the new Color Center experience from the Home Depot. Everything you need to get the right color right. Let's do this in hand, online, and at the store. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Bear Premium Plus Interior, just $23.97. Download the Project Color app.
The makers of Colace invite you to feel free. Free of dye. Free of gluten. Free of stimulants. Colace Clear for occasional constipation. Feel free to go.
Tomorrow on AMHQ, it's a holiday, so your Columbus Day forecast is coming. And on Tuesday, we're thinking about winter, and it's our big reveal. This year's winter storm names only.
I just had a horrible nightmare. My company's entire network went down, and I was home in bed unaware. But that would never happen. Comcast Business monitors my company's network 24 hours a day and calls and emails me if something like this scary storm takes it offline, so I can rest easy. What? You don't have a desk bed?
Don't be left in the dark. Get proactive alerts 24/7. Comcast Business. Built for business.
Square's always been straight up. They say, hey, this is what we're charging, and that's it. It's like a handshake. American Express, MasterCard, Visa. Regardless of the credit card, the fee is the same across the board. The money's there right away. The money's there. Square has been a big part of helping the barbershop club go to the next level and mature in many ways. We're in it for the long haul.
Accept all major credit cards with Square and get your money fast. Get your free card reader at square.com.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, mostly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 87. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 70. Monday, except for a few afternoon clouds, mainly sunny. High 87. Winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Weekend Recharge, time for your tropical update. I'm storm specialist Dr. Greg Postel. Let's have a look at what's going on sort of globally across the tropics and in particular over the Pacific. We got a couple of things to look at, right? We've got Tropical Storm Nora. That one is probably going to take a right turn, pretty hard right turn up in that direction and end up as a North Pacific gale. I don't think it's going to come anywhere near Hawaii. They may get some big waves out of it, but that's about it. No surprise, I suppose. But there's another one on its heels. This one is Invest 96E. It's got a pretty high probability of turning into a depression or a named storm over the next few days on a westward track about like that. I'm thinking it's probably going to follow in the same footsteps as Nora. So we'll have plenty of time to watch it in the unlikely event it were to get close to Hawaii. But right now, it's just going out over the open Pacific waters. Not so much to worry about there. But look at what's going on over here, kind of at the right edge of your screen. There's some more and more thunderstorms starting to flare up across parts of the Central America and far western Caribbean. I think this is a sign of trends that the models are showing us that it will get a little bit more active, at least thunderstorm-wise, in this part of the world. And whether or not we get a tropical cyclone out of it in the Western Caribbean, it is way too early to tell. Some of the guidance suggests it's possible that there may be some development in this part of the world where right now it's actually pretty sunny in many cases. But we'll have to keep an eye on it. If I had to say the trends in the models in that arena would suggest that maybe the development would be more likely in the far eastern Pacific rather than the Western Caribbean. But again, we got a week to look at this. But just overall, there may be a brief little bit of a window opening up with some reduction in the wind shear across that part of the tropics. So it's something to keep an eye on. And just of note here, this is where they typically happen in October. Though not a predictor in this case, this is kind of where we see them if they're going to happen in this part of the tropics. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Greg. From those warm tropical breezes to the very gusty winds across the northern plains, there's a live look at downtown Rapid City, South Dakota. We have a high wind advisory in effect through 7 o'clock this evening local time. We're talking winds behind a cold front anywhere from 25 to 45 miles per hour and at times gusting as high as 60 miles per hour. And that's enough to down maybe some tree branches and maybe get that garbage can flying down the street as well. So yeah, make sure everything is secure in this area as we do have these high wind warnings and high wind watches in effect. By the way, there's a town called Babb, Montana, just north of Choteau, Montana. Our weather producer Catherine tells me those winds have been gusting up around hurricane force. We're talking 74 mile per hour winds. And it's a strong pressure gradient between this area of low pressure over Canada and high pressure over the eastern portions of Oregon. So that really helps to funnel and strengthen that wind. And it's going to shift into the northwest and be very gusty at times during the day today. For now, most of the winds have been southwest or westerly, and we get that downsloping effect, really warming things up across the northern plains. But those winds eventually shifting into the northwest, but just as gusty. We're talking between 40 and 50 mile per hour winds here from Great Falls to Bismarck down towards downtown Rapid City. Those winds are going to be quite blowing out there for you as well. Bismarck, temperatures in the 70s. We'll be right back.
It's more than the cloud. It's multi-layered security and flexibility. With CenturyLink, you get advanced technology solutions, including cloud and hosting services, all from a trusted IT partner. CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
The sleeper pick, the guy only you believe in. In 1 week fantasy football on DraftKings, he can be the difference. So trust your gut. Trust your numbers. Trust your Uncle Vito if you want. But know this, that sleeper is out there. The question is, who's gonna play him? This is DraftKings. Welcome to the big time.
Play this Sunday for your shot to become a fantasy football millionaire. Play free with promo code HOTDOG.
You get used to sweaty odors in your car. You think it smells fine, but your passengers smell this. Eliminate odors you've gone nose blind to for up to 30 days with the Febreze Car Vent Clip. Break out the Febreze and breathe happy.
Big savings on brakes have arrived at Pep Boys. This week only, get $40 off any brake service package starting at $99.99 with coupon. So go ahead and schedule a same-day appointment at your local Pep Boys today. Trust the boys to get you there.
Here in Vineland, home of Progresso, we love all kinds of chicken soups, but just one kind of chicken. White breast meat chicken every time. So if you're not going to make your own chicken soup tonight, do what we do. Make it Progresso.
As the host of a popular home improvement show, I know a lot about finding a great contractor for home repairs and improvement projects. Now there's HomeAdvisor.com, a free service that matches your project to top local service professionals.
We didn't have to do any work other than say what we needed.
Just 1, 2, 3, I found my guy and everything was smooth.
And it's always free to use.
We've had nothing but fabulous every single time.
Go to HomeAdvisor.com now to get started on your next project.
Home Advisor. Available now on the Weather Channel on demand. For millions of years, weather has shaped our world. But weather also created...
What is that?
Something else.
This weather adds to an incredible biodiversity. Do not move.
Find new episodes of Natural Born Monsters in your on-demand menu before they air Mondays at 10 on the Weather Channel.
And they're off. It's the 16th annual North American Wife Carrying Championships at Sunday River, Maine, amidst clear skies and pretty crisp, cool fall morning there. 50 couples chugged along a 270-yard obstacle course up grassy slopes through mud and dirt and water over obstacles for cash prizes, bragging rights, and beer.
You come out of the blocks and you're all ready to go, and then you go up and you keep going up and you keep going up, and once you get to the very top of that hill, you're running out of gas.
There they are. That was the winning couple hailing from Lebanon, New Hampshire, who won $750 and Steph's weight in beer. We're talking 8 12-packs of Shock Top and 2 12-packs of Bud Light.
Yeah, they're actually weighing her like a seesaw. She's on one end, the beer's on the other until they even it out. But, you know, I think she gets paid at least 5 times her weight.
Right.
That would be 150 pounds. There's no way she's 150 pounds.
I mean, on the one hand, like you mentioned earlier, you want to weigh more because you get more in prizes, more cash, more beer. Yeah, but then again, the poor guy's got to carry that weight. So,
or you know, she could have carried him.
She could, yeah.
We talked to Sarah Devlin yesterday, and again, you get your weight in Shock Top and Bud Light.
That's awesome.
In your beer, but. We talked to Sarah Devlin yesterday, and she said that there's no rules. I mean, you don't have to be married, 1.
Okay.
2, the woman could carry the man. Hint, hint, hint.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying.
You're not hinting to me, are you?
Actually, I prefer
You're a little
to carry.
taller than I am, Paul.
I prefer to carry a weather producer, Catherine Prosiv, who's about maybe 80 pounds with 20-pound rocks in her pockets. I could do that.
You're not going to get much beer out of that one, though.
True. Oh.
There's the only catch right there.
Bragging rights.
All right, we're going to talk about the wonder of weather. As you could see there, we had beautiful weather in New Hampshire for the Wife Carrying Championship. We do have some rain, though, across portions of Maine, and that little bit of blue is showing up some snow.
You also might notice some of the colors they had there up there in Maine. And not too far from Sunday River is this. This is Mount Washington. In fact, you can actually see Mount Washington from Sunday River.
Oh,
and again,
okay.
the presidential range there had some snow yesterday. Even saw some there at the observation deck on Mount Washington.
And Quebec, Canada, besides the fall foliage, you've got the dusting of white on the mountaintops.
Hey, if you get some great pictures out there, we'd love to see it. Hashtag it's amazing out there. And here is our little producer. I can carry you. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Okay, guys, go, go, go. Honey, do you have the camera?
I do. Oh.
Hi, can I help you?
Oh, I need an eyeball.
We should find something here.
Oh, that will work.
Happy to help.
Thank you.
We're happy to help make your day a little better. Walmart.
Currently in our area, 83 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, mostly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 87. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 70. Monday, except for a few afternoon clouds, mainly sunny. High 87. Winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome to Weather Geeks. I'm Dr. Marshall Shepard from the University of Georgia, and on this week of tremendous and historic flooding and extreme weather, I've invited Dennis Mercerel to join us here today. He is a writer for Gawker and The Vane and actually has a very timely book out right now called The Extreme Weather Survival Manual. I'm taking a look at it right now. Got some really myths in there, busting some myths on safety. You know, I want to get into some of those, but we saw some tremendous flooding in South Carolina. You know, it's not really a myth. It's really just stupidity that I see people driving through flooded roadways. What would you say about that?
I don't know what people are thinking when they go through a flooded roadway, because when it's instinctive to try to survive. I mean, you smell smoke, you get out of the building.
Right.
You see flames, you get out of the building. So when you see a road covered in gushing water, why would you drive through it? It just doesn't make any sense to me, the thought process.
It's cute, this turnaround, don't drown, but it could save your life. Now, in your book here, you talk about some other myths, crouching down to say, you know, out of lightning's harm's way, or if you live near a lake, you might not be hit by a tornado or in a city. Debunk those, or are those real?
There are very few myths about the weather that are actually real.
Exactly.
Like the biggest one that gets on my nerves is that people think that because they live in a downtown area or that they live near a body of water like a river or a lake, that they're immune from seeing a tornado, and it's just not true, because in the last couple of decades we've seen tornadoes hit downtown Atlanta, downtown Nashville, downtown New York City. One hit in Brooklyn a couple of years ago.
Right.
They can cross mountains, they can cross rivers. It just not true.
Yeah, and you know, I think those are really useful tips that you can find in your book. How did this book come about?
The publisher actually emailed me and they asked if I wanted to if I was interested in writing a book about surviving the weather, and I thought about it for about 12 seconds and I said, sure. So the book, actually, I wrote, it's kind of like a half and half book. It's a half and half. It's like half weather explainers and half how to survive the weather. I wrote the weather stuff, and a survival expert named Robert F. James, he's the co-author of the book, he wrote the survival stuff. And we kind of weave it in, and we weave the weather stuff with the survival stuff. So when you read about how tornadoes form and how supercells form, we tell you how to survive a tornado and how to prepare your home and your property and your mind to experience a tornado one day, just in the unlikely event.
As you were preparing to write this book or doing your research on the book, anything, because we're going to get into sort of your background, and you're very knowledgeable on the weather. By the way, at WXDAM, you can follow this guy on Twitter. Seriously, one of the best follows on Twitter. I'm just going to put that out there.
Well,
one of the best follows on Twitter. I have no need to suck up to him. That's just real. He's one of the best followers on Twitter. But as you were doing that research, anything that you learned or found out about weather or for surviving extreme weather events that surprised you?
Actually, the easiest thing you can do to survive the weather is just to pay attention to the forecast, whether you're getting it from the National Weather Service, the Weather Channel, your local television news stations. Just paying attention to the weather goes really a long way, because it's surprising how many people just go on their smartphone apps and they'll see it's going to be 73 degrees today.
Now, you wrote a really nice. Now Dennis writes for the Gawker, or the Vane.
Yes, I do.
You have written really one of the best articles out there on this notion of smartphone apps. I mean, everybody's looking at the little smiley face. Oh, it's going to be nice and sunny today, and in fact, it's a thunderstorm. Talk about why we can't really trust those weather apps the way people think we can.
Yeah, these weather apps, they pull their information from the weather models just as is, and we all know that weather models don't exactly perform as well as we'd hope they would. With Hurricane Joaquin last week, a lot of them showed it curving into the United States when it really went out to sea.
Right.
So when you're getting these this information from a weather app, it's not quality controlled by a degreed meteorologist who knows what he or she is doing.
Right.
So when you're looking at this information, it's incomplete.
Are there any situations or circumstances? We know, for example, at the beginning of the baseball season, the Miami Marlins stadium has a roof, but they chose to leave it open, and there was a delay for rainfall because the general manager was looking at his weather app, and it wasn't accurate. We've got a lot of sort of what I call cell phone meteorologists out there. Are there situations, though, where the weather apps and the phones can be useful?
Yeah, there are two that I can think of right off the bat. The first is just checking the current conditions, because it's important to know if it's going to be, if when you're about to leave your house, if you need a coat, if you need an umbrella. And the second most important use for them is the weather radar, because it's pretty hard to mess up weather radar.
That's right. Yeah, so, let's getting back to the book a little bit. If I crack open this book, I'm going to find survival tips, I'm going to find some things, but what are some of the other things that I'm going to find in this book that sort of sets it apart from other sort of weather books that are out there?
Well, you're going to find weather explainers in there too, so it's not just how to survive the weather and how to prepare for the weather, but you're understanding the weather.
Okay.
And, knowledge is power.
So give us an example of that. I mean, just some topic there, an explainer that, 30 seconds or so.
Sure. For instance, a tornado. You can survive. How does a tornado form? What are you looking for with a tornado?
We got some images in the book here, but keep going, sure.
When there's, if you hear there's a chance of thunderstorms in a couple of days, are they going to be just the pulse thunderstorms that pop up and rain out, and there's going to be a little bit of lightning?
Sure.
Is it going to be a squall line, or is it going to be, an outbreak of supercells like we saw on April 27, 2011?
Right.
Knowing the difference between the different kinds of thunderstorms and the different threats that they pose can help you prepare for whatever is going to happen.
Now, as we get into the fall and winter, what would you say for our Weather Geeks viewers are sort of the biggest sort of weather hazards or threats that perhaps that you might write about in here? Is it extreme cold, snow, driving hazards in snow?
Usually the biggest threat in the winter is driving hazards, because we always think about snow, but we don't really think about ice all that much.
Yeah,
And
especially here in the South, black ice.
Exactly, yeah. That's a big hazard down here.
Right.
Because we think about snow all the time. We're going to have to get the roads clear, but you don't think about the difference between freezing rain and sleet. If the snow mixes with freezing rain, it's going to freeze, and it's going to freeze solid, and it's going to be almost impossible for them to get it off the roads. And sleet does the same thing. It turns into like glacial ice.
Yeah, and by the way, on that note, I find a lot of people that confuse sleet and freezing rain. Remember, sleet is the little ice pellets that fall down. Freezing rain is the actual rain as it falls, hits the surface, and then melts. One other thing, and this is something I get often, and we'll talk about many of these, hail. Hail happens in thunderstorms. It's not really something that we see in wintertime precipitation. So we're going to come back and talk more. But next on Weather Geeks, this week we saw just tremendous and historic floods in South Carolina. What did we learn from those events? We'll tell you next. But first, our Geek of the Week.
Meteorologist Chris Robbins, founder of the great educational resource iWeatherNet.com, is this week's Geek of the Week. Chris is a University of Oklahoma grad. Guess what? I went there for a year, Boomer Sooner, and is fascinated by winter storm dynamics. He recalls waking up to 8 inches of snow in Atlanta during a 1983 surprise snowstorm. Chris also spends a lot of time traveling and mentoring future meteorologists. In addition, he's taken on the role of associate editor for the Journal of Weather and Forecasting. Good luck, and congratulations to this week's Geek of the Week, Chris Robbins.
Hähnchenflugel zum halben Preis.
Parmesan Knoblauch?
Ja.
Island Fire?
Ja.
Honig Barbecue? Es ist unglaublich.
CJ, warum sprechen wir eigentlich Deutsch?
Ich weiß nicht.
Liegt es am Namen Winktoberfest?
Ich denke schon.
Etwas übertrieben.
Bless you.
Gesundheit.
Bless you.
Gesundheit.
Bless you.
Whatever language you speak, it's time to celebrate Wingtoberfest. Half-price wings Thursday, October 15th. This is how you Sonic.
You tuck here, you tuck there. If you're a toe tucker because of toenail fungus, ask your doctor now about prescription Keratin. Use daily Keratin drops may kill the fungus at the site of infection and get to the root of your toe tucking. Keratin may cause irritation at the treated site. Most common side effects include skin peeling, ingrown toenail, redness, itching, and swelling. Tell your doctor if you have any side effect that bothers you or does not go away. Stop toe tucking and get the drop on toenail fungus. Ask your doctor today about Keratin.
This kind of weather, all bets are off.
Currently in our area, 83 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, mostly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 87. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 70. Monday, except for a few afternoon clouds, mainly sunny. High 87. Winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
It felt huge. Don't move, man.
When you're living with diabetes, steady is exciting. Only Glucerna has Carb Steady, clinically proven to help minimize blood sugar spikes. So you stay steady ahead.
Big savings on brakes have arrived at Pep Boys. This week only, get $40 off any brake service package starting at $99.99 with coupon. So go ahead and schedule a same-day appointment at your local Pep Boys today. Trust the boys to get you there.
In a work world, take time for Sunday. Just know that your truck has a little thing for Monday.
Hello? It's Dr. Moreno's office. Can you come in to talk about your biopsy results and bring someone with you?
Sign up for the walk and raise money so no one has to walk alone.
We are back, and we're going to talk about the floods, and our thoughts are with those that are still suffering from the floods. I know yesterday South Carolina moved its home game to LSU, and I think LSU stepped forward there. But Dennis, as we saw this flood, I know you've written about this, and I was writing about it before the event as well, saying, look, the threat is the rain, it's the flooding.
Yes.
But I think we did, we got a little tunnel vision as a community, not you or me specifically, on the hurricane itself and whether it was going to make landfall. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, when the week first began, the majority of the weather models, except for the European model, were showing Hurricane Joaquin coming in somewhere into the United States East Coast. And we were really concerned about that at first. And then we started to realize, well, there's going to be flooding also in South Carolina, North Carolina, somewhere in the Carolinas, in that general region because of the upper level low that was coming through.
Right.
And as the week went on and we started to realize that Joaquin was going to go out to sea, the flooding threat just kept getting worse.
Yeah.
And people were so focused on Joaquin because it had a name and it was a hurricane, and it was a pretty powerful hurricane in the Bahamas. It was almost a borderline Category 5 at one point.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's talk about the name. And maybe you know where I'm going, because we know we've named hurricanes for many years. The Weather Channel actually names winter storms. And it certainly has its critics out there. Perhaps maybe you're one of them. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah.
But in talking about that, and, this is Weather Geeks, because you don't feel afraid to talk about whatever your perspective is on this.
Sure.
But in this case, we had a situation where a named storm got all the attention, but a little measly not measly in the sense of scale, but an upper level low that didn't have any name, that really ended up being the story. Could was the naming issue important or not important? What are your thoughts here?
I think that hurricanes are just such a powerful force, and they're so pretty to look at on satellite imagery that they just capture so many people's attention.
Yes.
And when you see, an upper level low, what does that mean to anybody who isn't a weather geek?
Exactly.
And so the name of the storm, I don't think had as much to do with the presentation of the hurricane itself.
Right. But so you still feel the same way about naming winter storms? Or
winter storms,
not a big fan, are you?
Not a big fan of it, no, because it takes away from, I think the Weather Channel names winter storm names a winter storm, for instance, if a winter storm warning covers 2 million people or 400,000 square kilometers, whichever comes first. But what about if it impacts 1.5 million people? Does it not matter as much then? And as we've seen so many times before, I grew up in the DC area, and flurries will close that area down for a day and a half, and it barely gets a mention on the national news.
Here in Atlanta as well. But I think the counter rationale would be that, given the audience that, oftentimes we're communicating with, it certainly has an impact. I think this is going to continue to be debated. I think there's some discussion out there. Mary Glacken has started a discussion in AMS. Is there anything that could have been done differently with South Carolina in terms of preparation, or was it just one of these unprecedented events that was going to have consequences because of its scale?
It was just going to have consequences because of its scale. Because you can prepare for flooding, but if you've never seen that scale of flooding before in an area, the people in South Carolina, they've never, many of them alive have never seen that kind of flooding before. And areas that haven't flooded before flooded this time.
Any role, I know you're big in social media, and we got about 20 seconds here. Any role in social media that helped with an event like this flood?
There were so many meteorologists posting radar images and model images saying there's going to be a lot of flooding here, and I think that really helped get the word out to people who normally don't pay attention to the weather.
Right.
So I think social media really helps in a situation like this.
Yeah, so we criticize the social meteorologists, but it certainly can have its role too.
Definitely,
and when we get back, we're going to have Dennis do some myth busting for us in our popular Hail No segment after the break on Weather Geeks.
We're getting record snowfall.
Radars indicate there's been flooding throughout the area.
We're getting hail the size of golf balls. Maglite. Turn your light on, America.
Be prepared for weather-related emergencies. Maglite flashlights. Turn your light on, America.
I love you. Love me too.
1 minute. Hi. We need to do this, yes. Be good.
Bye.
Letting go.
I'll say a word.
It's a little easier when you've saved for college with State Farm.
10 years ago, we were united by the tragedies of Hurricanes Katrina and Rita. Today, we are united by hope. Citgo helped those in need then, and in the decades since, we've heightened our social responsibility efforts to further improve people's lives. Since 2014, to commemorate the hurricanes that brought us together, Citgo has pledged nearly $2 million to continue restoration along the Gulf Coast. Visit CitgoCaringForOurCoast.com. Citgo, fueling good.
Trick or treat! Hello! Don't you look so cute?
Happy Halloween!
Trick or treat!
You two again.
Thank you.
This Halloween, whether it's a little fun or full-on festive, PetSmart helps you celebrate your way. Save 50% on all Halloween toys and costumes this weekend only.
I'm Mike Bettis. That's Sarah. Welcome to the set of a brand new show, Weather Underground. There'll be experts, bloggers, the smartest weather minds in the business on every screen you have 24 hours a day. Geeking out on what's happening in weather, how it happens, and why it's so freaking cool.
Weather Underground, weeknights at 6 on the...
Wherever you go, your favorite shows and movies should go with you. With Xfinity, you can take all of your DVR shows to go.
So I don't have to wait till I get home.
That's right.
Now you can watch your favorites anywhere.
Which would be super handy.
Let's say you want to watch your favorite shows in the park.
Lovely day.
Watch some people exercise. Or you could be at the beach.
Oh. Man, this is awesome.
Xfinity is perfect for people on the go. Upgrade to an Xfinity X1 Triple Play from Comcast and save when you bundle. See for yourself. Call 1-800-XFINITY or visit Xfinity.com today.
Tired of hearing yes all the time?
Yes, you need a down payment. Yes, you have to buy tires and batteries for your vehicle.
At Best Med Kia, we love to say no. No money down. No, you never have to buy tires and batteries. New Sorrentos, 0 down, $299 a month. New Optimas, 0 down, $249 a month. Plus, every new Best Med Kia comes with free tires and batteries for life. Isn't it great to hear no every now and then? Get to Best Med Kia today and then say yes.
194.
I don't know what that was. It felt huge.
Don't move, man.
We are looking at a dangerous storm right now.
We've got a situation unfolding in Charleston.
Winds continue to gust.
We're talking the type of rainfall that happens once every 500 years.
Let's go in and take a look at that buoy data right now.
The situation continues to deteriorate.
To tell this kind of story, you need an amazing team. Here at the Weather Channel, we've got the best you'll ever find.
The Weather Channel being here has kept the federal attention to this tragedy. Thank you so much for the great coverage you guys have provided.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 86. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 70. Monday, mainly clear. High 88. Winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Hey, welcome back to Weather Geeks, and we're talking about myths and debunking those. Here we call it the Hail No, and because it is Sunday and my mom might be watching, that's H-A-I-L, no. But we're going to call it Dennis Debunks today.
Yes, I love that.
What's the deal with people saying to open their windows in a tornado or something?
Yeah, it's like we're living in 1932 or something. People still have this like pre-war, pre-meteorology idea that homes are destroyed because of the pressure difference between regular atmospheric pressure and the pressure within a tornado, when that's just not true. It's the wind.
Yeah.
And when people throw open their windows because their grandma told them to 50 years ago.
They told her she's probably told them heat lightning was a real thing too,
Yes,
right?
exactly, yeah. And when they do that, it's actually letting the wind into the house and it's letting the debris into the house, and it puts you at even more risk, and it could destroy your house.
Yeah, we've already dealt with this notion that tornadoes can happen anywhere, whether you're in a city or not.
Exactly.
What about this notion that you should just judge tropical systems by their size and intensity? What's the problem with that?
The problem there is a situation similar to what we saw in South Carolina. If you remember Tropical Storm Allison back in the early 2000s that hit Texas, it was just a tropical storm.
Yeah.
And it produced unprecedented flooding. I think it was like 4 feet of rain or something close to it near Houston.
Yeah, you know, and in my day job as a professor and a publishing scientist, I've actually written a paper as well on how tropical systems, the piddly ones, this tropical storms and Cat 1s actually can be the most prodigious rain producers as well. What about this notion that you're safe from hurricanes if you live in the Northeast? Well, I think Sandy debunked that.
Sandy, this notion was, in my experience anyway, writing The Vein, because Gawker's audience is mostly based in and around New York, people are so into the idea that, oh, well, we don't have hurricanes here because one hasn't hit in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And when Sandy hit, that pretty much took care of that. But there are still people in Connecticut, Rhode Island, up towards Boston and Maine, because they haven't had a hurricane in decades now, they think that they're immune from it. And it goes back to the tornado, you know. You live in a city for 15 years and you haven't seen a tornado, but they go through your suburbs all the time, so you think you're immune, but it's just luck.
Yeah, I haven't had a car accident in a while too, but I'm certainly not immune to one. I could have one tonight. Hopefully I don't.
Hopefully not, no.
Now, what about this notion that I won't help a victim that was struck by lightning because I could get electrocuted too? What the heck?
That is one of the most interesting things I learned when writing this book, because I didn't know people believed that until I started researching it. People think that, or at least some people anyway, think that lightning strike victims are still electrified. So if you touch them, you're going to get zapped yourself. But by believing that, you're costing their life. You have to help them at least to restart their heart or to stabilize them.
Exactly.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, and speaking, I want to kind of come back to something we were just talking about, because as we're taping this, Dr. Jeff Masters of Weather Underground was talking about there's a hurricane out in the Pacific that actually may head towards Canada. It might not make it as a hurricane, but just to illustrate these sort of regional myths. Now, I can't let you get out of here. You know where I'm going.
I know where you're going.
I can't, you know, chemtrails.
Chemtrails,
It's basic physics, folks. When warm air is coming out of a plane at high cold altitudes, you're going to get a cloud, just like when we breathe on a cold day.
Exactly.
What's your thought on this whole chemtrail stuff and HAARP and all that?
It's dangerous that people believe in stuff like this, because when they look up at airplanes and they see that the vapor trails, it's just water vapor, it's the jet exhaust condensing in the cold upper atmosphere. And that's it. I mean, you have to pay $25 to check a bag. Do you really think that they're going to put like tons of chemicals in the airplane along next to your suitcase?
Yeah, it's just, it's boggling. Now, we've got 30 seconds here. Now, I know you started out in meteorology, but actually have took a different path.
I did, yes.
But you're still making an impact in weather. What would you say to someone that maybe doesn't major in meteorology but loves the topic?
If you pursue a minor in meteorology, you're getting a solid education. It's not the deep science that goes into the research.
Absolutely, and that's where we've got to end it. I wanted people to know your background. Dennis, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for
We're on Weather Geeks, WXTWC on Twitter next week. See ya.
Need new tires? Right now at Pep Boys, when you get 3 Falcon, Cooper, or Hankook tires, you get the 4th tire free instantly. Plus, get no interest and paid in full within 6 months on your Pep Boys credit card. Trust the boys to get you there.
They may claim good performance, but typically cordless vacuums deliver weak suction. The issue originates here. To make their vacuum smaller, most others make their motor smaller and less powerful. But at Dyson, we've invented the small but powerful V6 digital motor, spinning at up to 110,000 RPM, giving our latest cordless vacuums twice the suction of all others.
You pay your auto insurance premium every month on the dot. You're like the poster child for paying on time. And then one day, you tap the bumper of a station wagon. No big deal, until your insurance company jacks up your rates. You freak out. What good is having insurance if you get punished for using it? Hey, insurance companies, newsflash. Nobody's perfect.
For drivers with accident forgiveness, Liberty Mutual won't raise your rates due to your first accident. See car insurance in a whole new light. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
This is Henry. Expertise, staining carpet. But this is new life-proof carpet with stain-resistant technology built in to help keep tough stains out. Let's do this. Get any carpet installed, including new stain-resistant life-proof, for free. Only at the Home Depot.
A gentleman always looks to refine his wardrobe. Do it for less at the Joseph A. Bank Columbus Day Sale. Buy one, get two free on a huge selection of suits, sport coats, and blazers. Plus, all traveler dress shirts and sports shirts are now $3 for $99. Only at Joseph A. Bank.
Looking for a delicious dinner idea? Make tonight white chicken chili night. Start with Bush's white chili beans, simmered in our flavorful chili sauce. Then add rotisserie chicken. Punch it up with a little heat. And a few ingredients from your pantry. It's easy to make the perfect pot of chili every time. Make your chili better with Bush's white chili beans. For this and more great chili recipes, visit bushbeans.com.
Available now on the Weather Channel on demand. For millions of years, weather has shaped our world. But weather also created...
What is that?
...something else.
This weather adds to an incredible biodiversity. Do not move.
Find new episodes of Natural Born Monsters in your on-demand menu before they air Mondays at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 82 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. High 86. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Low 70. Monday, mainly clear. High 88. Winds west-northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
We are looking at a danger storm right now.
We've got a situation unfolding in Charleston.
Winds continue to gust.
We're talking the type of rainfall that happens once every 500 years.
Let's go in and take a look at that buoy data right now.
The situation continues to deteriorate.
To tell this kind of story, you need an amazing team. Here at the Weather Channel, we've got the best you'll ever find.
The Weather Channel being here has kept the federal attention to this tragedy. Thank you so much for the great coverage you guys have provided.
Monday on AMHQ.
You're about to see something you have never seen on television before.
I want to make sure everybody can get an idea of what's happening here.
Let's talk about that.
Let's lift the base of this and talk a little bit about tornadoes.
That's pretty impressive. Let me show you why.
We'll tell you about it coming up.
They track the meanest, deadliest storms on Earth. Tornadoes, hurricanes, even ice storms. They're hardcore meteorologists who don't rely on high-tech gadgets, just a cell phone connection and a map. This ride is the ultimate fusion of science and adventure for meteorologist Simon Brewer and Justin Drake. Storm chasing isn't a hobby. Whoa! You see this? It's a way of life. Whoa, look at that flying through.
We got a guest with us today, Greg Forbes. Look at the size of that guy.
We've had to retreat into the car. Lightning bolts have been coming down.
Look over there.
We're in something. We don't know what.
Whoa!
Meteorologists Simon Brewer and Justin Drake are changing up their storm chasing routine by adding an up-and-coming meteorologist with a lot of promise to the team.
Hey, Greg.
Hello, Simon. Hello, Justin.
Nice seeing you.
Good seeing you. Yeah, we're on the Weather Channel. I'm known as Storm Master G.
For years, the guys have watched Dr. Greg Forbes on the Weather Channel.
So far, I'd give the month an A for good behavior in terms of severe thunderstorms.
During his distinguished career, he worked with the legendary Dr. Ted Fujita, the man the Fujita scale is named after. The Fujita scale rates a tornado's wind speed based on the damage it causes. Now, after years of forecasting tornadoes, Dr. Forbes is excited to see one up close. The meteorologists are spending the next 4 days together, storm chasing across the Midwest.
Hey, are you ready to have some good chase days?
I am, sure.
Ooh.
You guys have done a lot more chasing than I have. Most of the time I'm spent in the studio, so I'm excited to, of course, to be out here and seeing the tornadoes.
I hope we can get Dr. Forbes up close and personal with a large photogenic tornado without getting in too much danger.
Give them the nice full experience of actually being out there chasing.
The first day of chasing with Dr. Forbes turned out to be a bust. Storms fired in their target area, but didn't produce any tornadoes. They repositioned to gear up for tomorrow's chase. The team, eager to see some action today, checks data before hitting the road.
Yeah, my thinking was that you didn't want to go too far south because you get too warm aloft, but you might somewhere in this area burn off the clouds. So you'd get the CAPE.
CAPE stands for Convective Available Potential Energy. It's a measurement of energy or instability in the atmosphere. Instability occurs when warm, moist air near the surface combines with the cool air above. This energy can be used in the formation and intensification of thunderstorms.
In this area, southwest Nebraska, northwest Kansas.
The combination of having your most instability here is probably like the bullseye area for today.
We're going to drive south on State Route 283 into north central Kansas, and probably maybe even drive a little bit west of there towards Hill City.
There's the supercell. Right now we are up here.
Oh, our visibility just went to crap. We saw a bullshit feature straight ahead, and now we've lost all visibility of it. And we're looking out to make sure we're not going to drive under it. Keep your eyes peeled and look up.
The team is driving in extremely dangerous conditions. It's mid-afternoon, but because of the intense thunderstorm, it looks like it's the middle of the night. Visibility is down to a few hundred feet. That means if a tornado was to form near their location, they have a very small window of time to move out of its path.
If I saw that car ahead of us get checked before we got to it, then that would be like turn around.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. See this?
Yeah.
See this? Winds are coming really fast out of the north now.
The winds are getting so strong that huge pieces of debris start flying through the air. A log gets blown into the street, and before Simon is able to react,
whoa!
He runs over it.
Oh, tree down. Whoa!
Oh, winds are coming out of the south now. South, see that? Southwest, they made that switch.
When winds change direction suddenly, it can mean that a mesocyclone or rotating updraft is nearby. The updraft is where most of the action in the storm occurs. It's where the warm, moist air at the surface rises